Hi, this is Debbie Boyer, and I want to welcome you to Top Chef Week 4 Challenge. We are so excited to see all the things that you are tweeting out from your classrooms. We had a principal PLC today, and everyone was talking about how awesome it is and what you are sharing from your classroom. So thanks for giving us a little glimpse of your students' learning. We are being sponsored this week by Underwood Attorneys at Law, and we would like to thank them for the iPad Mini that they're donating for this event, and we thank them for their support throughout the year. I have a special guest with me today. It's Tammy Fritz. She is the secondary ELA instructional coach, and she knows all about ELA, and we're so excited to have her with us. Tammy, tell us a little bit about the Quickfire Challenges this week.
Sure, Debbie, I'd love to. We have, once again, 5 strategies that you can implement into your classrooms. We have problem-solving board, 6 steps to building academic vocabulary, a think, pair, square, share, which is fun, a RERUN chart, and one of my favorites is NonSquares. I have seen this used in the classroom, and it's a lot of fun. NonSquares is a great strategy to use with ELA, but I can see other applications in other subject areas as well, in any area in which students need to connect details to inferences and then to drawing conclusions. In the menu, you'll notice that over on the blue, we have all of the different high-yield learning that students will be able to access when they do NonSquares. And you can see why it's called a high-yield strategy there. Debbie will be giving you a template on the email that she sends out, and it will look just like this. And so you'll notice that you will fill in information for 5 details, 2 inferences, and 1 conclusion. And I'll tell you in just a minute what to do with that blank square. Initially, teachers will need to model this for students and go ahead and put the information on the cards and delete the words detail, inference, and conclusion before we give those to the students. So you see that I have already typed a sample in here from a literature story. And so before I print this, I would go back in and delete detail, inference, and conclusion because we want the students to actually decide for themselves which ones of those are details or inferences or conclusions. So I would do that before I would print it out, and then once I print that out, I will then cut the cards apart so that the students have 9 individual squares to manipulate on the desk as they move them around to justify their thinking about the literature. By having these cards cut apart, students will mix and match cards, grouping details with an inference and a conclusion. They should always justify their matching squares with their partners, adding information and evidence from the text to validate their conclusions that they make. You'll notice that that 9th square is blank, and when we first teach students to use the 9 squares, we leave that one blank so that after modeling this strategy for them, they then will write an additional conclusion that they draw from the information given on the other squares, sorting cards that contain details and an inference that leads to their new conclusion on the last square. I would have students work together in pairs to do this, or maybe even a small group of 3 or 4 students. And students can have cards that they can trade with other groups. So I maybe would even create several sets of these cards and let students work with those, talk about them, justify their answers, and then trade cards. I think students see this as a very fun activity. Once students have done this a time or 2 with teacher-made squares, then later on we can have students actually create their own set of 9 squares, giving them the blank template on a Google Doc.
I love it. Tammy, thanks so much for sharing NonSquares with us. We can't wait to see this in action in the classroom. 6 steps to building academic vocabulary is another instructional strategy that we're highlighting this week, and there are actually 6 steps to working with students and their vocabulary. You would want to do all 6. We're going to highlight 2 in the video. One is students sketch or draw the term graphically, and number 6, students play games with the terms. Now, when we're looking at drawing, technology provides a great way to do that. Educreations is an app we absolutely love, so you might look into that one. You might also look at Skitch. It's great for drawing. It's a free BYOT or iPad app. Doodle Buddy is the same. We love it. It's easy to use. It's free, and kids could use it on their own devices or on our iPads. One that might not be as familiar to you is a Google Drawing app within Google. So on the Chromebooks or computer or the iPad, you could use Google Drawing. And Tammy gave me the idea for drawing similes, because if kids can draw them, they're more likely to remember what a simile is. And you can find this in Google Apps for Education. So we love that. The other one that is just fantastic is the Charades app. And it's a game that you play on the iPad or on a BYOT device. And it'll have different words and different categories that you can play and guess the words as they're either act out or you're given clues. But one of the great things about Charades, there's a piece in there that you can do a custom deck of words, and so you can make different cards within the app based on the vocabulary that you're using in the classroom. Great fun. We played it today with Principal PLC, and we had a blast. So ask your principal about Charades. We also want to thank Underwood Attorneys at Law for sponsoring this week, and we want to let you know that you can put your name in the hat for the drawing of this iPad for up to 5 times, 1 per strategy that you choose to share. But you can also have your name in the hat a 6th time by using one of these 5 technology pieces. So 6 times if you use the technology. And remember, the technology is just a tool to help you have the kids interact with the instructional strategy that you're using. So can't wait to see what you have. We have the campus cook-off going on. The principals are tweeting and getting involved, and we're so appreciative to them. We just want to point out that the race is so close. There's no way to tell who's in the lead at this time, but we want to share our red team update and let you see the Sundown Lane, Arden, Jean Howe, Hillside, and Midway principals. These are our lead learners, and we want to thank them for tweeting out and being involved in the race. The blue team, Crestview, City View, Lakeview, and Reeves Hinger, are modeling different strategies and being involved as well. The green team, we have Westover Park, Randall High, and Greenways, and we're grateful to them. And the purple team, we have Canyon Junior High, Canyon High, and Canyon Intermediate. We want to thank Carla Chisholm's Randall High graphic design class that made these graphics for us. They just took the principal's pictures and turned them into our head chefs. So we want to thank you to Ms. Chisholm and her class. We want to thank, too, Education Credit Union for providing the burger luncheon that these principals are working towards, and we're just grateful to them. We want to leave you with bon appetit.